might be a little bit long. I got to go home and help the wife handle some candy, I think,
That makes sense. That makes sense. Hey everyone, how's it going? It's I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a very special episode, Chavez podcast number 222 with Figpin CEO Dan Williams on VeVe, success, life, collecting, and more. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Dan, my man, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Appreciate you
What's
having
on
me.
your hat?
This is a Washington State University. That's where I went to college.
Oh,
And,
sweet.
So, just repping it, repping the Cougs today.
What year did you go? What years did you go in Washington State?
1989 to 1993.
Okay, so tell me what have you ever seen? I don't know if y'all want me. I'm just gonna do it. You ever see Get 'Em to the Greek?
Get them to the Greek. That was a movie, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I feel like I have, but I can't recall it right now. But
This not Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill smokes this thing called like a Jeffrey. It's like weed and like a whole bunch of other stuff. And he gets like he's freaking out, and then Russell Brand goes like, "Oh, just stroke the furry wall, stroke the furry wall." And then P. Diddy is just like, "No, it's okay. This is what pussy used to like in the '70s." Is the what was college like in the late '80s, early '90s?
well, it was fun, man. I mean, it was it was before cell phones, right? So I think I have three kids.
Yeah.
One graduated college. Two graduated college. Actually, I got one still in college. But back then it was like call home every Sunday. I lived in a fraternity house, so you kind of go to a little phone booth and kind of wait your turn and make that half-hour call to mom and dad. Yeah, thanks for could you put some money in my account? That kind of thing. So that kind of sticks out. I don't know. I think it's pretty similar. I mean, going to the hill. At Washington State, we called it going to the hill, where all the classes were and stuff. And
okay,
do your thing, come back, and pretty similar.
That's awesome. That reminds me of when I was in the military. We at least had like internet most of the time in the deployed location. But I'd served with some people that were like, we have this like morale tent that has internet. Kind of sometimes you can kind of get on there once a week for like an hour. So I guess that's similar to what you guys had in college, where you call home for the hour.
Yeah.
CVTV, it's this girl Caprice. She said she wanted to have a shout out to you because she had she met you, I think, in San Diego X amount of time back, and you gave her daughter a bunch of like Deadpool quest pins.
Oh yeah. Hey Caprice, how you doing? Good to see you on here.
Yeah, she loves you. She's a big fan. Anyway, this I know you have to get home at some point to help with Halloween. Happy Halloween. But this is I do want to get you kind of as long as I can for sure. How you got into this, what the current trends, what the current policies are, and then the future. But to start it off, when did you realize you were a nerd like me and you wanted to get into collecting things?
Man, I guess this kind of goes back to the beginning of my career. When I came out of Washington State, my first job was working in a warehouse at Gray Bar Electric doing shipping and receiving. And I was there for about 3 weeks, and I got a phone call from my wife's roommate that said that her brother-in-law was starting an office in Seattle for a promotional products company called Jack Nadell. And so anyways, I talked to Tom, the gentleman that started the office, and he was like showing me kind of like all these promotional items that were like super creative in what they're doing. I was like, wow, man, people make a living doing this. And so I was like, I would love to kind of jump into this. So I started Jack Nadell back in 1993, and that was kind of like sport coat, tie, little briefcase full of kind of my knickknacks, going to business parks, trying to drum up business or get meetings, straight commission job, that kind of a thing. So I started kind of in the merchandise business, servicing companies with like logo merchandise and branded merchandise. Throughout that career, I started picking up some good clients as I went. So Starbucks was a client, Microsoft was a client, Nintendo was a client. And then that came the need for more creative items, more custom items. And so I got recruited away to another company.
Wait, what year was this?
This was in the time period of 1993 to 1998.
Wait, Microsoft was in this business back in the early 90s?
Well, Microsoft was launching like a lot of products and a lot of brands, and so they'd have needs for like T-shirts, or they'd have needs for like, let's say like custom little kits that would go out to developers to announce like, God, I think it was like Internet Explorer back
I
then.
never knew that.
Yeah, no, there's a whole industry of promotional products where people are creating like branded products on behalf of companies. Kind of like the VeVe hat you're wearing. I mean, think like Microsoft hat, or Windows 95 hat, or
Yeah.
what I mean, kind of more brand, kind of marketing, kind of driven projects.
Okay.
So,
That's
anyways, I kind of progressed to that business, and then in about 2000, I went to work for a company that was what you call a trading company. So it was a company that specialized in manufacturing goods in China. And it was still kind of piped into the industry of promotional products. So I worked on probably 1,500 different kinds of items, anything from custom bags to, God, I did a lot of work. Actually, I'll show you something. One of the products I still have, this is cool. This was part of the Air
nice.
Force One 25th anniversary. So we made these whole kits. This was a belt buckle.
Wait, what year did that come out?
I think this was 2005 time period, 2007 time period, somewhere around there.
So Air Force Ones were in the 80s?
Oh, Air Force Ones went way back.
I guess 1980, if 2005 is the 25th anniversary.
Yeah. That's
And
probably
that's a belt buckle.
Yeah, it's a belt buckle. We made like white leather belts and black leather belts that attach to this that were of the same leather that matched the leather of the Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
And then we made actual shoe trees. So, it just had a need for like lots of different expression of different kind of items. We made these like 2-foot tall polyresin Nike statues of like kind of like a Korean looking girl at the time. I don't know, just a ton of different kinds of items, Randy. Like they would promote brands or kind of use at events, or use.
Are those belts still around? Like the white belts with that Air Force One? Like, because
I don't know. You could probably like eBay it or something, or Google it or something. It was this launch was in Hong Kong, so this was for a launch specifically in Hong Kong because you had a really big sneakerhead culture in Hong Kong that celebrated these kinds of events. It also had like a suede kind of like bag that you put the shoes in, kind of idea.
I wouldn't expect that in Hong Kong. Okay, all right. So I guess, two things out of that. One, I don't know if you or if any of your kids have ever watched Hey Arnold. Have you?
Yeah.
Big Bob Pataki goes to he takes his daughter shopping one day in an attempt to spend quality time with her, and he said that everyone needs a white belt, and that just reminded me of that. And the other thing is, big in Hong Kong. I feel like Air Force Ones are more of like a kind of like a minority thing, but I guess in Hong Kong, why there? Why did they choose to go there?
Well, I think there's a really big collecting culture in Hong
Yeah.
Kong, at least for the Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there you go. It's the Air Force Ones it's kind of a big collectible, quite honestly.
Yeah,
Because
I know, it's huge.
like all the different colorways and treatments and everything else. Matter of fact, that would be kind of one of my collectibles. Like I love getting different kind of expressions of the Air Force Ones.
Yeah. Those are great. I love those TikToks where these guys they get the new Air Force Ones and then they have 3 rolls of bounty paper towels and they continuously rip one and put them down so that their Air Force Ones can step on the bounties so that they don't get dirty.
Right.
Those are amazing. Oh, that's so cool that they did that. So anyway, figure it's the 90s. You get out of college and you go into collecting. Pokemon probably wasn't even a thing.
So really, I guess you would say I got into the merchandise business, right? And so I found myself in this place where I had different accounts, and my job was sales. So I would meet with accounts, I kind of understand their needs, and then I'd come back and talk with my creative team and come back and present like a deck of ideas, right? And it could be custom items, depending on the need. If it was kind of like quick turn stuff, it'd be like off the shelf stuff that was like branded, or if there was time, we could create something custom.
Yeah.
And as my career progressed, where the company I made the Air Force One kind of gear with, I was there 10 years and worked on, I'm literally 1,500 different kind of custom items. Remember the light up necklaces? It had like the little necklace here, and then the back would go and it would attach, and it had LED batteries and it would light up and glow.
In clubs or
just in general? I think it was a licensed trend that came out maybe in the early 2000s. As a matter of fact, what's funny? This is an example of a kind of item I would sell, right? So this is they call these Ceracells.
Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century. Sorry, Keep going.
It's like a promotional item that was used as a gift with purchase. Actually, when you buy a home videotape at like Musicland. So this is kind of how back it goes, right? So I would work with 20th Century Fox. I'd work with Warner Brothers. I'd work with Disney. And we would make promotional items used as gift with purchase items when you purchase the VHS tape, which became Blu-ray tape, or Blu-ray DVD, and then became Blu-ray, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, so that's kind of where my career went till about 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back to the agency side of the business, and I worked with a company, and my client roster at that time was mostly video game companies. So Ubisoft was a big client of mine.
Oh, love that.
Microsoft was a big client and kind of helped create a lot of merchandise for Halo 4 and Xbox One launches. Nintendo with the Wii U, remember the Wii U, that launch? PopCap Games. I don't know if you guys know that studio, but
I don't even know
Plants vs. Zombies, kind of that kind of stuff. So I would make styluses with custom charms on the top for Nintendo DS. So a lot of kind of video game kind of centric merchandise, everything from collector editions to pre-order campaigns at GameStop. And during that time, ThinkGeek became a client of mine. And ThinkGeek was a little different because...
Wait, what's it called?
ThinkGeek.
Okay.
Do you guys remember ThinkGeek?
I'm not familiar, but tell us.
And there was another company called Jinx, Jinx. So these two companies, in about 2012, each had a Minecraft license, and there was only like 3 Minecraft licensees at the time. Okay. And so they needed a lot of help, like everything from design to custom manufacturing to testing to importing, that kind of whole thing. And that was really kind of a lot of my expertise. And so I helped create a lot of concepts and a lot of merchandise, really as an OEM manufacturer on behalf of those companies for Minecraft type of product, and product that would sell at retail. And so in 2013, I really didn't have the supply chain I wanted to do the kind of quality I wanted. So I phoned an old friend, Travis, that I had made a lot of product with in the early 2000s. And we started, he had a company originally called China Manufacturing Direct. And so we talked about starting a new name, but here he had the entity started, and it was like, okay, well, you know what? Let's just start with China Manufacturing Direct. Terrible name. I'm like, Dan at ChinaManufacturingDirect.com. It's just like, so we did that. And the very first product we created was this item right here. So this is like a hard shell, custom Captain America backpack. And it would fill with like, kind of like so you could fit your laptop in it. I still see to this day. Matter of fact,
that's so cool.
At New York Comic Con, and I turn around and there was a girl wearing this actual bag on her back. So, anyways, that was our very first item. So we designed it, we tech packed it, we manufactured it. We used a Korean manufacturer. We used a factory that painted motorcycle helmets to get the paint job, right on that. It was cool, and it sold extremely well. And then we went on. We made Legend of Zelda backpacks. We made Game of Thrones backpacks. We made World of Warcraft Alliance Shield backpacks. Kind of a ton of backpacks, and outside of that, we're doing custom coffee mugs. We're doing some of the first themed loot crates that came out. So Loot Crate came out and had their generic black box. And then they launched a Fallout Loot Crate and a Mass Effect Loot Crate. And we helped put all those together for Loot Crate at that time.
Wow.
And so anyways, as the China manufacturing direct business progressed, we were really doing more collectible type of merchandise. So we did a DBA to CMD Collectibles as the company. And it was still video games and different kind of licensing. And one of the projects that came in was a pin set for Street Fighter. Man, I wish I had the sample here, but we, Eric Holdy joined me in the office here in Mill Creek, and he joined in like I think January 2016.
Yeah.
And anyways, he fell in love with the line work of enamel pins, really, and really kind of like it kind of came really naturally to him, the style and everything. And we created that set, and then we packaged it like in a little mini arcade game, like a Street Fighter arcade game. And I don't know, there was something just really cool about the pins. And I had this idea going back to 2013. I went into a Disney Vinylmation store, and I got some little blind bag pins of the Disney Vinylmations, and I love the weight and kind of the brilliance of the enamel colors and stuff. And I thought, okay, I was working on the video game Watch Dogs at the time, and the main character was
awesome.
And I was thinking, man, if we could make like an Aiden Pierce character in detail that I could display on my desk, kind of standing up, that would feel cool. Like, just the weight of it and just kind of so anyways, as we went, we were doing the Street Fighter. So we were playing around with size. We were paper dolling like sizes, like every 1/8 of an inch, from like 1.5 inch all the way up to 3 inch, all the way to 6 inch actually. And we landed on 3 inch as kind of the size, for what we were going to launch. And we started prototyping. Actually, our prototype character was Altair from Assassin's Creed. I don't know if you remember. So actually, it's funny because I have a box set that we released. So Altair is this guy right here. And so actually, I think this original line work, Eric might have tightened this up, because this is like we did this for the anniversary. But anyway, yeah, I'll do an unboxing here. So this is the box set, and kind of when you open it up, you'll see kind of like these.
Oh wow!
Really kind of like ornate. And there's Altair. So that's pretty close to Eric's original art back in 2016, probably March, April timeframe. And really worked hard at kind of understanding the tolerances that we could get with like hard enamel, and kind of how to bring out kind of these depth of the characters. And so just, it became a labor of love. And then the other gentleman that was on the journey with us, Amado Bator, extremely bright, talented guy, came up with the concept to serial number the Fig pins. And so, and the packaging for it, and kind of help shape a lot of the brand language for Fig pins. So those two creatives really kind of helped, launch, Figpin, the company and the brand, with me and Travis. So anyway, so the business goes on, and we kind of love what we fell in love with, or we kind of, fell in love with, the products and stuff like that. And we didn't know a lot about licensing. We didn't really know much about retail selling. Kind of our backgrounds were product development. Their backgrounds were art and design. Travis's background being a general business guy, and he had another business selling cables and kind of other things. So it was kind of this crew that was, kind of taking the side venture from our normal kind of agency style work for clients. But it just kind of took. And so me and Eric went to the licensing show in, I think it was May or April, May of 2016. And first booth we saw was Epic Rights, and they had the Kiss and AC/DC license. We're like, dude, that'd be so rad, like doing Kiss and AC/DC.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we walked in there, and the girl was like, really receptive. And so Angus Young, High Voltage, that was one of the early Fig pins. And we did a Kiss Love Gun set.
Wait, you guys did Kiss ones?
Yeah, my brother was a huge Kiss fan. So when I was a kid, I grew up like in wall-to-wall posters of Kiss, and a record player, and like that. Yeah, probably like every song, man, by heart, really. So that was really nostalgic. And then Also, we're kind of in the video game. Mass Effect was launching a new game called Andromeda. So we
Yeah.
got a license for Mass Effect Andromeda and kind of made a way of those pins. And then this is kind of funny, but we didn't really know much about anime, but I knew Goku was super popular in the orange jumpsuit. So they had a licensing agent that we had a meeting with, and we got kind of blown off of that meeting. But we're standing outside the booth of Toei, and they happen to have Goku and Dragon Ball, on the
Oh,
booth.
from Toei Animation?
And we had made kind of like some bootleg samples of fig pins to bring to the show, right? So we made the Altair, we made a Goku, and we made a Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. And so we walked in and kind of set it, because we made it with these original fig pins kind of had this like kickback stand right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Which would allow it to like, stand and basically turn this around, like, stand up,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And so anyways, the gal from Toei, loved our product and worked backward to Funimation at the time to, help us get the Dragon Ball license. So
Yeah.
so at that time we had like, AC/DC and Kiss and Mass Effect Andromeda and Dragon Ball. And then the very first fig pin was, a guy that was like, repping us to Loot Crate, loved the product, and Loot Crate at the time was doing some kind of a pitch, I think, to the owner of the New York Mets, and they wanted to basically
Wait, what
create
year was this?
this was 2016. 2016, yeah.
Okay, Jose, when did you guys decide to do the Mike Piazza one?
Yeah, no, so this is the story right now. So this is
We gotta go.
yeah. So Loot Crate, was growing like super fast at that time, and so they wanted to get into sports, and they were going to put together like a sports pitch.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure this was to the owner of the Mets. And anyways, they wanted to make a Noah Syndergaard fig pin. So we had this really sick Noah Syndergaard fig pin made and background. And at the last second, they're like, no, it's got to be Mike Piazza. Okay, it's got to be Mike Piazza. So we make a Mike Piazza pin, right? And we made 300 units, POs for like 300 units. I think first PO was like December of like 2016. And it's the only fig pin we made without a serial number on it. So anyways, those fig pins delivered. And dude, I don't know where those are. I don't think
Nobody
they're
does.
into the public. They're probably in someone's closet or something somewhere. I have no idea. But it's a very coveted fig pin because it was fig pin number 1, and there was only 300 made, and they're almost impossible to find, nowadays, kind of thing. So, anyways,
you have one on your Instagram. How did you track that down?
What's that?
I saw that you have one on your Instagram. How did you track that down?
Well, look, I had samples, you know what I mean? So had my aunt actually has a Mike Piazza fig pin. I gave it to my aunt. So, she has one down in Arizona. So it's in safekeeping, you know what I mean? So, but the fig pin number 2 was part of a Best Buy, this like a Loot Crate, right? So you had a Funko Pop of Vegeta, you had a pair of socks, you had kind of a cool tumbler that they did with like Goku on one side, Vegeta on the other. And then they had fig pin number 2, which is Super Saiyan Goku. And it was 5,000 units. It went to Best Buy. It was Dragon Ball themed. I can't remember what the retail price on it was, but this was kind of our first launch into the public, in the public eye for fig pin. And we have this slogan called "Collect Awesome." And part of the inspiration of that slogan came from a YouTube video of a guy unboxing this crate. And he's like, okay, and you got like, the Vegeta Pop, and you've got these socks, and you've got this mug. And he goes, and then you got this awesome, amazing fig pin. Looks like it costs $100. You know what I mean? Just his emotional reaction to it. And we're all like, super proud, kind of that moment and kind of what we did. And then we went on, right? And so then Target, was a very early customer. They took the Mass Effect Andromeda fig pin line, which sold terribly, man. I don't even know if we sold really low units. And the buyer, still the buyer today, man, his name's Nate, man. I love this guy because he really gave us our first chance and put us on the map. And anyways, it did horribly. So we worked out kind of a deal to, give him some markdown money, and he kind of made it really easy on us. But he's like, what else do you got? And we're like, well, we got Dragon Ball Z. And at that time, this was 2017, and they weren't really sure about anime, but we put it in the section, like it was like a 9-piece PDQ, man, and the thing was on fire. I think it was like in the top, 1 to 3 of his collectible section. And so then Figpin was kind of off and running, from a commercial standpoint. And then we had Bandai Namco was another big partner early kind of in our journey. And we had a Tekken 7 license, and we did a Tekken pre-order campaign with GameStop. And so when you came in to get your Tekken 7 game, you would get a Heihachi Figpin. And then we had a complimentary kind of set with it. And then we did the same kind of program for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Was it Odyssey? What was the one before Odyssey? It was the Egyptian one, the Assassin's Creed.
I don't know. I played the American one.
Yeah,
it's like the Revolutionary War, but
I can't remember. But anyways, we did the Assassin's Creed set, and along the way, we did WWE Figpins, and we did DC Comics, Justice League Figpins, and it just kind of went on from there, kind of thing.
So when you guys experimented with the high editions, I don't know if you were attempting to be like Funko, or just when you guys went into stores like Target, and now you seem to have like refocused on rarity. What did you find in that high mint venture? Like what worked, what didn't work? What was something that you guys learned and that caused you to refocus?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think we learned a lot. I feel like, one thing that's really important, if you want to be in mass, I feel like a lot of important lessons. You have to have the right cost, and you have to have the right retail, and you have to have the right wholesale price. So getting the pricing right, for your business is super critical. And then also the merchandising strategy, right? Where it lives in the store, how it lives in the store, that kind of a thing. The other thing that became apparent is, I think Figpin now is like in almost like 1,800 characters deep. Picking character selection is tough because, Goku will go, Stitch will fly off the shelf, Goku will fly off the shelf. But someone like, let's say we make that Dragon Ball wave, and all of a sudden you get down to Vidal, Vidal ain't going.
Oh, Vidal would go hard, bro. Vidal's
not going. Randy, I'm telling you, man, she doesn't go anywhere.
How many editions are you making for Vidal?
I don't remember, but
you already did that, Vidal?
Yeah, we did that.
How many years ago?
That was probably 2019. Honestly.
Okay, and how many did you make?
Well, what's funny about that? I can tell you because I can just.
Tell me right now. Because I am so like, I don't know if you can see, I am so hardcore into the Dragon Ball Z. I'm showing you that DBZ tattoo, the Royal Saiyan crest from King Vegeta's armor. Prince Vegeta wears that every now and then. I will not strip on camera, so we're gonna bring that up there. Yeah, let me know about Vidal.
There's Vidal. So for you guys out there that don't know, that is Vidal.
Yep.
And she sat, man. She sat.
So how many of her did you make?
Okay, so I can go in the factory. In here, so if you go on the Figpin app, you can go to the catalog. You can type in Vidal, and it'll give you like all this data, right? So let's see. We did one run of 180, one run of 1,476, one run of 816. One run of 1,080 and one run of 2,016. So
you're at like 5,800 Figpins, which is again, I'm coming from like the VeVe fam here, and that's like a lot. But
yeah.
Out of the 5,800, how many did you guys sell?
Well, eventually they all sold because we don't have any Vidal left.
Oh, okay, so it all sold,
right? But I mean, it's one thing for us to sell it, but then the people we sell it to have to be able to be successful with it and sell it. You know what I mean? So, and I think what I remember about Vidal is she sat at Hot Topic or Box Lunch. I can't, maybe both. At the time we were just getting going with, I think, Box Lunch, and we kind of had this inventory, and we had inventory because maybe we overproduced on some of these, like, we would call Videl like a class D character, Goku being a class A character.
D character. Well, hold on. Y'all got to put respect on her name. D character. I love Videl.
Look, man, no offense to Videl, I don't even know her character, but I know her from the standpoint of like going into a Hot Topic or box lunch and still being there a long time. Where in what happens in those brick and mortar retailers, and you go in there and you get some slow moving characters, then it basically kind of slows down your turnover, and it looks like it's not selling through at the rate they need. So then they'll want market money to move it out and clear it out and go on to the next one.
Wait, so did she cause you to lose like shelf space on some of these like places like Hot Topic or Target?
Well, I wouldn't say it was completely her fault. I would say, probably the bigger issue was us just being like really unfamiliar on how to work with retailers in a smart, strategic way, right? So none of us really had experience, kind of in the retail game and selling the retail game. We're like, hey, man, we made a product that we kind of fell in love with. And we're like,
if
hey,
you needed to have,
we learned some of the hard ways of how to like do business, with big retailers,
If you need to ever sell any type of Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z character, let me know, because I go hard on some of those Dragon Ball Z stuff. Like I will put together a dissertation. I could put together a 30-minute TED Talk with no preparation on any of those Dragon Ball Z characters. And I will 100% let you know.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man, this is the guy that keeps on giving, right? We have line planning meetings like once a week, but dude, I'll tell you that Goku never disappoints, man. And in here in the Figpin app, I just type in Goku in the search. We made 48 different Gokus. So variants of Goku, all his forms. This was probably one of my favorites. This was Ultra Instinct Goku, kind of thing.
Wait, what is that? What's he called?
Ultra Instinct Goku from.
Okay, and then he's like at the Maya. Okay, all right. So
yeah.
You said you weren't that familiar with Videl, so I'm guessing you're not 100% familiar with all of like Dragon Ball Z, correct?
Yeah, correct. I would say I'm a super novice, casual fan of Dragon Ball Z. But I would say this, man. I love Toei, and I love the Dragon Ball art, and I love the Dragon Ball brand.
So Toei Animation, Akira Toriyama, like that is what like I grew up on. I can quote any episode of Dragon Ball Z. You can start a line of dialogue, I'll be able to finish it. Well, like obviously, as you know, my younger viewers don't, but back in the day we didn't have computers, and all we did was watch Toonami. So on the end of that, if Videl were to become a character on VeVe, I'm not saying that 5,000 would sell out right away, because that probably would not. But and it took X amount of time to get Videl to sell out. But give us 2,000 Videl, that would sell out, I would say, depending on the price, within 48 hours. Because that is, so you guys had that thing with your first exposure to VeVe, or at least the public's first exposure to the VeVe X Figpin crossover was KFC. Can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with VeVe, why the first drop was KFC, how all that came together, and all that?
Oh, definitely. So I think it was New York. I wasn't at New York Comic Con last year because I was basically at my niece's wedding, and I was the guy, like, saying the vows for him or whatever. Not saying, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah. And Paul, the chief digital officer from KFC, had come by our booth in New York Comic Con. And then I was at New York Toy Fair after that, and he come by our booth again there and dropped his card. And so I followed up, and man, turned out to be a super cool guy. And he loved Figpin, and he wanted to work with us to do some things for KFC. And so Eric had worked on the Colonel Sanders art for the Figpin. Actually, we sat on that for a long time, right? Like, we'd made one for Paul, and then we talked about a licensing deal, not a licensing deal, that kind of a thing. So this kind of goes back into the spring of 2024, this year. And then Thank you, by the way. Dragon Ball Z Figpins are awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
And then I hired Derek Romano, who was from Blizzard, and Derek was a VeVe fan already, and
Okay.
Derek and David had talked about possible VeVe digital collectibles for Blizzard. And so Derek's like, hey, I would love to introduce you to David at San Diego Comic Con. I say, okay, great. And I'd never heard of VeVe, quite honestly. And so,
really,
yeah, we had a booth.
so there's all right. Let me save that for like. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
Yeah. So anyways, we had a booth at San Diego Comic Con, and I walked from my booth over to David's booth, which was just a couple aisles away, and met David, and they were launching the Stan Lee kind of digital jackets, and a lot of the VeVe crew kind of in the booth and excited about the comics and things like that. So we met briefly, and then kind of like I guess tagged via phone a little bit, and then decided to meet up again at D23, which was only a couple weeks later. So again, we had a booth at D23, and VeVe had a booth at D23, and Robert's the Figpin company president, met David and kind of had a brief conversation, and it moved that quick. And so it was kind of me on WhatsApp texting David, like, hey, do you want to do this? We got a Colonel Sanders. We could do a VeVe, collaboration on this. And he wanted to do VeVe logo pins, so you guys saw the expression of those. And look, we put it all together, and pulled it off and delivered the stuff for the show.
And this was what month?
This was the end of August.
Okay, so there was a seed round raised in August of 2024, in early August. Can you go over that at all?
So we did a seed round, to raise cash for the company, and so we did that, and David came in as as the last guy to kind of close our round. So
Oh, how when you go over when David came in, did he just give as much as you guys needed, or did he be like, hey, I want to own as much as possible because I've seen what people do with these types of pins, whether it be Disney and their pins and their flair, or Disney Pinnacle over on Dapper Labs with their pins? Like, how did that come about?
It was a smaller round, and we had gotten most of it already, and there was a little bit left, and he expressed interest, and so we kind of made it happen. And that's what it was. Yeah,
that's amazing. That's so cool. People are asking for more sports bits, so I'll take questions from the audience at some point. So you were talking before about that Captain America shield, and one of the things I wanted to go over was when you mentioned that. One of the things that first come to mind is typically not Captain America, even though I love him. He's part of the reason that I joined the military. He's part of the reason of who I am as a person today. But in Comic-Con of 2021, there was this guy. He was an Afghan in a turban, and he goes and he says, like, he holds up a sign at New York Comic Con saying, Black, Muslim, trans, Latino, Asian, white, we all make America great. And as someone as you who were born here and has made their fortune here, has been super successful here, I want to ask you, what do you think makes America great?
Well, I think, my dad always said, like, this is a great place because if you have an idea and a little gumption, you can go as far as you want. And I think that's true. You can do that here.
Tell me about your dad. Tell me a lot of the stuff he inculcated in you. Tell me the values he instilled. Tell me what.
My dad was an optimist. He was also a military guy. He was a Navy pilot. Kind of like a
top man. Wait, is he still alive? Is he still around?
He's not. He passed away at 81 a couple of years ago. But he was just a guy with a great attitude. So when he was a younger guy, maybe 20. He crashed his plane, which kind of like, led to him, being disabled, but, never complained. You know what I mean? Always glass half full, always optimist, always mind over matter kind of thing. Like, so I think for him, man, just he was an example of like a great attitude, positive attitude, you know?
It's awesome. Shout out to him. One of my favorite things to do, I was Air Force, is I go on like TikTok and I'll scroll, and every time I see a TikTok live of someone in like the Navy, the Army, or the Marines, and they're like live streaming from wherever they are, serving dignified in like a deployed location, or they're in the States, whatever. I'll go and I'll comment like Air Force is better because that's where I was in. And the salt that comes out will be like, oh no, Air Force, like the Chair Force, get the heck out of here. I love triggering them. That's one of the greatest things. But shout out to your dad that served, that helped make this country great. Thanks for that answer. One of the other things that I wanted to go over is that there was I know we went over the Mike Piazza and we went over a bunch of stuff, but as far as the Figpin app, I had that VeVe Gold logo, and we'll go over that in a second. We'll go over a bunch of that in a second because there's a lot of curiosity in that. But I redeemed one of mine in the app. I got the lightning, I got all of that, and there's a interesting place on the app where there's a lot of utility, there's a lot of things to do. But several months ago, Figpin had talked about getting new shelves for the app and making it a little bit more interesting. How's that coming along?
Yeah, I would say I'm looking for my phone. Here's my phone. Yeah, I think we are in the process actually of adding more shelves. And so for a lot of the people that don't know, if you don't have the Figpin app, you can download it on the Google or the Figpin, app store, and register an account. And a lot of people, it's so funny, man. A lot of people still don't know this. Anyways, there's a little unlock screen here, and on the back of every Figpin, there's a laser engraved alphanumeric number.
Is that Batman? Is that a Batman Figpin?
Yeah, this is a Batman, actually Figpin Ultra.
I knew it.
Actually, this is unique because it's all copper and
so that's worth money.
Yeah, so this is the Figpin Ultras you can only get if you have certain status, in the Figpin app, actually. So if you and we kind of keep raising the credentials with every release. How many unlocked you have, how many kind of your possession for a long time, how much Figpin power you have. Anyways, it's all kind of gamified, in the app. So anyways, if you enter this digital code into that. Matter of fact, I wonder if I've actually entered this before. Let's see here. I'll do this live right now.
Yay! Oh, we getting this, bread? We doing this live? I don't know if you ever seen that. I forget his name, not Bill Maher. Bill O'Reilly.
This is it right here. Open up my.
Damn.
So there it is. So I entered it into my Figpin app, and up pops, this screen of my Batman Ultra. And so then, the red numbers are what we call factory score. So kind of the credentials that comes with the pin, right? And say like first edition. It'll say volume 1 of 1,000, and what my sequence number is. I think like in the NFT world you call it mint number, but what my sequence number is, which is 987 out of 1,000. So not a great sequence. But then like we call that factory score, and those numbers are all added together, right? And so if I would have got like it had a little slider here to show you if I would have got max points and kind of what that is. But anyways, the blue number is called story score. So this is kind of like all the history that goes into it. And so I'll hit claim, and I'll claim it, to my collection.
Yeah.
Now. And it's kind of like scrolling through. So congrats, October 31st, 2024. This will be the date in which this pin was claimed. You'll be able to release this pin in the future. So anyways, first, and it's a first claim. which means
So,
like, I was the first one to kind of open this Figpin and kind of claim it to my collection. So now that that is in my collection, and I'll go to it. And so my collection, actually, you'll like this, Randy. I have a lot of my Dragon Ball shelf is the first thing that comes up.
yeah.
Um,
I love Dragon Ball Z. I love all of it. I consume every form of media that it has.
and it has a lot. See here.
Yeah. I mean, it has a history of like 30, 40 years, and it has abridged versions. It has people that make their own versions. It's insane.
Oh, and
So,
it's my second Batman. I've got another Batman in here. Anyways, I'll show you my other Batman. So anyways, this kind of, when you go on, it'll start adding kind of more blue story cards, with the Figpin Ultra comes with like an extra story card for more power. Oh no, this is it. And I'll launch it. Now I'll launch it, and let's see what my launch position. I was 455th person to launch it. So I
okay.
claim it, and I'm the 455th person basically. There's 454 people before me that have launched this. I'll check for a sequence bonus. If there's any sequence kind of bonuses, it'll give me a bonus here. So there'll be things like there's a part in the app that has an unlocker room, which is this kind of like live scrolling feed of pins, and you can go in and
Yeah, I love that. I love
get
all when I was
boost.
learning through the app, it was just incredible to see all of the different times that people are saying like, "Oh, hey, here's what this is for. I just did this." How many active do you guys track how many active, I don't want to say wallets, how many active users there are per month? Because the feed is constantly respawning. The feed is constantly going and saying like,
But
"Oh,
and every time, like, you're in here and active with, like, hitting a story card and doing something, um, that'll re-trigger it into the unlocker room, and it's kind of like, hey, it's kind of updated with a score, and it's kind of like scrolling back through that kind of a thing,
okay,
kind of idea. I know this. I can tell you that, kind of on average, and this is interesting because I feel like the app has been almost like a lab, a collector's lab, so to speak, right? So I think really, Amada's idea to serial number this was really genius, in the early days, and I feel like the journey after that to then do an app, there was a decision: do we do an app or do we do a website with this? And we're like, well, most people are on their phones, so let's do an app.
yeah,
And we didn't know we didn't know, but as we've tried a lot of things, so over the time period, you have like, okay, what's the adoption rate of the app? Okay, so I think now we produce maybe like 8 million fig pins, a little over 8 million fig pins. I think there's been a total of maybe 1 million, almost 1
wait,
million 100,000.
8 million Figpins over the course of what time frame of how many weeks,
Well,
months,
our
years?
first our first our first fig pin came out um, February of 2017, right? So that, well, no, Mike Piazza came out, but he wasn't serial numbered. So the first serial
Yeah.
number thing that came out was February 2017. So since that time, I think roughly over 8 million fig pins, or close to 8 million fig pins, and we know because every single one's serial numbered, right? So we have all the counts and all the data and everything else. The number of unlocks of those 8 million fig pins is about 1,080,000. So I
Okay.
think, like, that's kind of the adoption rate you'd see from like physical to then unlocking kind of into the digital, kind of experience. And then you can track by like, okay, well, within that bucket, how many actual users are there? And I think it's probably closer to like a real number of 60,000. And
Okay.
you could say that of those 60,000, about 8,000 have unlocked 21 or more fig pins. So that's kind of like, 8 million fig pins produced, 1,080,000 unlocks of 60,000 people, with 8,000 of those 60,000 kind of being really enthusiasts. And then there's kind of stratas within that, right? So that's kind of the breakdown of kind of like the data, kind of this point.
I
Um,
just on top of my phone. So when you talking about data,
Yeah.
People like Omar saying, "I love Videl and Gohan."
Right.
CBTV saying Videl is great. You could say it's the greatest.
Man, I'm never gonna hear the end of this one, man. Sorry, Vidal.
Vegeta over 9,000. So, do you know the meme of Vegeta 9,000?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Of course.
Okay.
You know, Vegeta over 9,000 was actually the very first Figpin that we launched on Figpin.com. We launched
Wait,
500.
really?
Yep, it was December of 2018, and we launched. We put the website up. We launched Vegeta over 9,000. Very popular Figpin, actually.
Of course it was, because it's one of the best memes ever.
Yeah, yeah, and he wasn't like in the pose, like crushing the eyeglass or anything, but
The
I don't know,
scouter.
it was kind of that Vegeta, and in that package, we had an idea to take the Figpin logo and create Figpin logo pins, and everyone in the office kind of pick a color, and so we had like
Yeah.
7 different colors we launched with as a surprise to those first people that got the Vegeta over 9,000. And then what's interesting is those are all serial numbered as well, and we never sell the logo pins, right? You can only get them as like as a gift with purchase, or you get them with a box set, or you get them at a con, that kind of a thing. And those kind of became a side game collectible, kind of within the whole kind of Figpin community, kind of as we've gone on, you know.
So that is one of the most circulated Dragon Ball Z memes ever. There are a couple of others that have to do with Dragon Ball Z Abridged, the actual series, Dragon Ball, the original. But the "it's over 9,000," that is like people saying that is very elusive. That's amazing. But what's the Chicken Man? The logos there. Also, spill the tea. What does that have to do with
Chicken Man, are
anything?
you talking Colonel Sanders or?
Oh yeah. So that's the thing. So there is on VeVe the ultra rare and the secret rare of Colonel Sanders, where they have the you're able to get that at the booths of either VeVe or Figpin. Which, by the way, a buddy of mine got to New York Comic Con, was stood in line for 3 hours, got in there. Comic Con opened at 9. He was able to get in at like 9:07, 9:08. He goes to the VeVe booth, gets his stuff, and then goes to the Figpin booth literally at 9:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and they say, "Yeah, you have to wait until like 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time." Almost 3 hours later, that was heckin' wild. And on VeVe, we have 3 Colonel Sanders options, but in VeVe, we only got the ultra rare and the secret rare. What is that third VeVe thing? What is that third VeVe option?
So remember Paul from KFC,
Yep.
came and was kind of spearheading the whole thing. So actually, that's Paul's own internal like award inside KFC. So he has his own Figpin Colonel Sanders.
But what do you have to do to get that?
Oh man, I don't know. It's not really available to the public,
It's not, because if you go on the VeVe app, you see there's a bunch that's available for the ultra and secret rare for New York Comic Con.
Yep.
But the other secret rare KFC, there's none for sales. Nobody
Yeah,
in the VeVe community has that. How do we get that?
yeah. I mean, you gotta talk to Paul, I guess.
How do we get to Paul? Like, how do we go and get this? Like, who do I have? I'm a little
Paul, if you're watching, man, be careful.
What do I have to do? Whose ass do I have to kiss? Who do I have to in order to get this KFC pin?
Yeah, no, it's sorry, man. It's those aren't mine.
Because I am so curious about that. So speaking of curiosity, you're mentioning Dragon Ball Z, you're mentioning anime, you're mentioning so VeVe has been breaking into this in general. They have anime, they have music, but they don't they have a lot of good stuff for anime and music, but they don't have like the greats. They don't have My Hero Academia, they don't have Dragon Ball Z, at least not on the app yet. But if we were to get Jujutsu Kaisen, if we were, which by the way, Mr. MC1 Sanjay has done a bunch of Figpin giveaways, and we'll get to one of the giveaways in the next couple of minutes. What are the you did the KFC thing with VeVe. What are the next licensors that are ready to go on? Who are the ones that are forward thinking? Who are the ones that are ready to go on VeVe?
Yeah, well, look, those conversations are really brand new. So I think David and I are both working on that. And with
Mhm.
David's permission, I've been approaching different licensors that we're either renewing or want to get, and just starting, kind of giving the KFC as an example. Like, we did this, it was very successful. It had a VeVe digital twin on there and the whole thing. So those conversations are, we had a meeting at Crunchyroll. We kind of presented that, and like, it's
Love
not
country.
Crunchyroll's decision. Every anime has its own committee, so it's going to be its own little journey to get that approval.
Yeah.
Um, but it's in every conversation I'm having right now with IP rights to try and get the digital collectible versions included so that we can have the experience of these physical to digital type of opportunities.
Okay. So that is, I'm curious because there's a bunch of people that are asking any chance of Nintendo or Pokemon on Figpin, Alpha on Blizzards.
I'll give you one. I'll give you one little tidbit on Pokemon. So, really interesting enough.
Got that Pokeball up there. Donkey Kong's throwing it, but it was a long story why Donkey Kong is on there. I'll tell you if you want to know, but Pokemon, that is the reason why.
So Pokemon has its own store called Pokemon Center, right? They're
Yes.
here in Bellevue, Washington, and one of the directors there I used to work pretty closely with.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, I would hire him to do custom design work for me on some of the early days of CMD. More recently, one of the guys I worked extremely close with and actually worked for me here um, is at Pokemon and is more directly involved in kind of the pin game. So um, there's been conversations about doing something together. I don't have anything concrete yet, but that is kind of what's kind of on our kind of future wish list, as well as you guys from VeVe. But just because I'm here in the Seattle area, there's some kind of like older contacts and kind of like ends to those companies in different kind of capacities.
Yeah. Okay. So again, the reason why I asked is because they had you guys have so many things. And again, a lot of the comments kind of allude to it. Somebody's saying like Alpha on Blizzards, and then Mariano Love is saying, "What's Blizzards?" It reminds me of Dairy Queen. So obviously, Blizzard has the pretty much the first metaverse where they go in and have that the gold that you can sell for real life, and you can have in general the gaming stuff. But is there any alpha on that? Is there anything that's coming to it? I know you just mentioned Nintendo. What about Blizzard? What about World of Warcraft?
Oh, wait, so yeah, no, we've taken over the Blizzard pin program. You know what I mean? So this is Alaria from World of Warcraft. You could say we're working on Hearthstone.
Oh, I love Hearthstone.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not
no,
good at it, but it's awesome.
So no, we're working closely with the Blizzard team. Kind of as we go. Matter of fact, I think like here was kind of the packaging for the Alaria. So this is a new product form for us. You'll start to see called Quest. And so what's interesting about this is it's a 3-inch fig pin, like I showed you, and on the back it's a chase by the character. So it comes with this. In this case, Alaria came as a common. It came as a rare glitter variant, only 275 made, and
Oh
then a
wow.
white super rare, only 25 made. And so we had a lot of success with this. We also did Deadpool.
Oh, I love Deadpool.
In the same idea. And on the back you'll see like common, and you'll see like kid pool and baby pool. And then we kind of had a hidden question mark, which ended up being like a Wolverine. And then we did like a 1 of 10 adamantium all silver Wolverine, kind of as a chase. So yeah, kind of the idea of like taking these kind of like kind of hero characters and then kind of creating levels of chase, kind of within it. It's what we call Figpin Quest.
Yeah, I love Deadpool. I'm a casual fan, casual cosplayer. Absolutely love the character. So you guys have a bunch of gaming, obviously Nintendo, obviously Blizzard. What about Riot Games? What about League of Legends?
You know, we would love to get to it. It's kind of like there's only so much we can digest
Yeah.
as a team this size. I think Arcane's going to be, you know, pretty awesome, and obviously League of Legends has been a runaway success. I will tell you that we have been working with Valve for about 8 years. So right now we work with them on Dota 2. So if you're a Dota 2 player, yeah, we actually created a kind of logistics software platform that we work with them every year on Dota 2 to create the Aegis replica medallion. And when you hit a certain level within the game, it's changed this year to a compendium, but when you kind of did the battle pass and would level up to like level 1000, you would create the themed Aegis medallion for that year and then drop ship it to 188 countries around the world directly to people's door, so that's, and then we've made like, CSGO pins, kind of with skins attached to it, that kind of a thing. So yeah, so gaming's been a part of what we've been doing, for a long time.
I love that. So I know we have a couple giveaways to go over. We'll go over one in 1 second, but Mr. MC1's asking, what do Figpin whales and loyals think about the VeVe post and collab? And are you aware of the sales of the VeVe Figpin that has happened anywhere between $500 and $1,000 for sales of that VeVe Figpin? What do you think of that? And what do you guys think about the VeVe post the collab?
Man, I'm not sure I've really had an opportunity to have those kind of conversations yet with some of the Figpin guys, other than a few of the guys that were there at New York Comic Con. Obviously, I think scarcity, and hard to get, it seems to be a good formula for like something to be sought after.
Yeah.
So look, everyone's gonna want the thing that's hard to get or they can't have, and
Yeah.
we'll put a value to that.
Okay, cool. So again, I just wanted to go over that, but now we're going to do one of the giveaways. We do have a couple of them to go over. Now, one of which is going to be well, I guess we have two, the Spider-Man Across the Universe, and then the Guardian of the Galaxy sets. So one of which I'll go over is typically what I do, shout out to Comics Crypto saying, let's go, smash that like button, is I'll ask a question, and whoever comments first, at least who I see comments first, will be able to go and get that giveaway. I guess we'll do Guardians of the Galaxy first. So, for example, if Comics and Crypto answers first, it will show him, his computer will show him that he answered first, but Darth Pins, his computer will show that he answered first, even if they both answered at the same time. So whoever I see answers first will win. And I guess the first for the Guardians, one of the Guardians of the Galaxy Figpin giveaways will be which movie, whether 1, 2, or 3, drops the F-bomb. Whichever movie drops the F-bomb, whoever comments first, 1, 2, or 3, will win that giveaway. And we'll go and take a look. So comment down below, and that'll be one of the giveaways. Now, tell us about the other giveaways that we have. Oh, all right. David Pineda comments, you are the one that got it, number 3. So yeah, tell us about the other giveaways.
Okay, wait, you're talking about the Spider-Man box set and the
Guardians? Oh no, this is the Guardians of the Galaxy, this one.
Okay. And what's the story behind it?
Oh, this was just saying like which one of the movies, whether 1, 2, or 3, dropped the F-bomb, and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 happened to drop the F-bomb.
Oh, you're asking the audience. Sorry, thought you were asking me a question.
Yes. So we're good. People are still answering, but obviously it was the person that made it, which was whoever said number 3 first, which was Jason Nielsen. And that was it. So tell us about the giveaway of Guardians of the Galaxy. Tell us about the giveaways of this Across the Spider-Verse. Tell us about them. What about the
Yeah.
set do you like?
Yeah, look, these go back to last year. We did these for AMC theaters. They're kind of online shop at the time,
Yeah.
and Jason, lead sales guy, was working with AMC and really kind of helped put these together as box sets that AMC was going to sell. So yeah, and look, we did Across the Spider-Verse was kind of a follow-up from Into the Spider-Verse, which we kind of did a bigger box set with, and these were kind of with newer characters. And then Guardians of the Galaxy, I think that was our first Guardians, kind of set ever, that we did. And so, anyways, I've known, now that I've gotten into the VeVe app and I kind of see the rich history with comics and a lot of the Marvel, I thought it was only appropriate to have Marvel giveaways, as part of the chat,
Very good. Mr. MC1 says the gamification of Figpin is absolutely brilliant. Agreed 100% with that. So Jason Nelson messaged me on X or Instagram to get that giveaway. The other giveaway for the Guardians of the Galaxy pin set is going to revolve around this question. Which song does Baby Groot dance to at the end of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie? And whoever answers that is going to win the giveaway. Again, which song does Baby Groot dance to at the end of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie? So whoever goes and posts about that is going to get that giveaway. It's going to be the name of the song or the person that sings it, or the group that sings it. And I have not. Omar Kasaje got it with "I Want You Back" by the Jackson 5. So I'm going to take a picture of that. And again, Omar, go and message that to me over on the X, or where to message me. So that'll be cool. Anyway, that is a couple of the giveaways today. Thank you so much for answering that. I know we've been going for a little over an hour right now. How much longer do I have you for?
I could probably go another half hour.
Okay, cool. We'll try to get this bread. We'll try to answer some questions here as well from the audience. Let's see where we're at here. Vegeta 9000. Yep, we mentioned that. Did Batman Ultra offhand? Smash that like button. When's the next Ultra? Darth Pin saying Snap City. When's the next Ultra?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
You know what? Honestly, I don't know.
Okay. Mr. MC1 says the Figpin is absolutely brilliant. What do you think about the people that are paying $500 to $1,000 for these Figpins? Why do you think that is, and why do you think there's so many people that are saying that, oh, that's impossible? Because they typically don't know that a lot of whales will pay that number for it. What do you think of the cross-pollination between the Figpin users and the VeVe users?
Well, I mean, is it? I'm guessing it's Figpin people that are paying the $500 to $1,000 for the VeVe logo, or I could be wrong. Oh.
There were 3 Figpin people that paid over 500, and there was 1 VeVe user that paid 1,000. And then because there was 500, 625, 650, and 1,000, but the VeVe user paid the 1,000, and the rest have been paying for the unredeemed Figpin logos, or for the Figpin pins. They've been paying above 500, but for the ones that were already redeemed on the Figpin app, the only sale I know of is about 250, because that one was already redeemed.
I think maybe sometimes it's a feeling of kind of getting it. You know what I mean? Like,
can you explain that? When you say getting it?
It's funny because I've seen this behavior before, right? I'll give you a quick example.
Okay.
We just on the Figpin logo pins, and I don't know if I have a logo pin here. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So here's a Figpin logo pin, right? So these are the Figpin logo pins.
Okay. How many of those are there?
If I looked in, let me look in the app actually really quick.
Okay, cool. I love how we can just go look to the app and then people can just know. They don't need to have followed for a certain amount of time. They could just go there ASAP.
Okay, so Figpin 117 different ones, but the VeVe ones are in here. And
Oh,
okay, so yeah, but so anyways, and like I said, like you know, the community started trading these, and there started to be like secondary values that people had paid for the logo pins. But one kind of sticks out in particular. We had gone to a GameStop manager show. So GameStop would have a manager show where they invite like all the store managers, and they have like 2,500, 3,000 stores. And I think this one was in Nashville. And um, we made like a red and white Figpin logo pin.
okay.
And I think we made 500 of them. And we had them like
Oh,
on a table, man. It's almost like it's like people are walking out last day's show. We couldn't even give them away, right? But when people found out there was a red and white logo pin, like I swear I thought I just saw one sell for like $900. Like people are like trying to complete like their logo pin collection. So if you're at New York Comic Con and you'd met some of the fig pin collectors, you'll say they kind of had the Ida backpack, with kind
mhm.
of clear, and then they'll have all the fig pin logos in it. So I
Yeah.
think the satisfaction out of having that, like, hard to get kind of thing. I think there's like maybe a little bit of a flex, maybe a little bit of a show off, maybe a little bit of a pride, a little bit of a completionist. I think it's somewhere in the range of all that, Randy. Like, of kind of like the satisfaction of kind of having that piece, kind of thing.
Very cool. Hamza Coop says the VeVe Gold Silver logo fin is quickly becoming a grail. Record sale is $1,000. And they also ask, would it be possible to have the Figpin number claimed on the app to be randomized? He said he spoke to a huge Figpin collector that said it's sequential. This would appeal to collectors so much more. Chase number one.
I'm not sure I understand the question. So would it be possible to have the fig pin number
Claim
claimed?
have to be randomized. Apparently,
Oh,
if you
I see what you're
claim,
saying, because
yeah,
the claiming of it kind of goes in almost like, who's ever first to kind of get there, right?
yeah,
Like speed of like claiming it, and then well, no, that's not true. So you claim it, and
okay,
then basically what happens is you get assigned a launch position. I think that's random actually.
okay,
And so for Comps and Crypto, I believe it is random because we had a problem early with the claiming where we did have it in there. I forget what it was called at that time, but
yeah,
you would basically claim it to your collection. It was based on the order of who did it, right? Like if Randy got his logo pin before I got my logo pin and he claimed it, he'd be one, and I'd be two, and so forth and so on. And so you get higher points, and there was kind of all that kind of went with it. And what would happen is, since we were in California and shipping to people in California, Californians would get their stuff first.
yeah.
People in Brooklyn would get their stuff like they felt like they never had a chance to really kind of compete. So we went to the claim and then the kind of like the random launch, kind of idea.
Very cool.
Yeah,
So,
it's funny, man. A lot of like a lot of problem solving, as we've gone. One of the really interesting things that was solved in the app was, let's say that I bought my Broly fig pin, right?
Broly.
Broly fig pin at GameStop, and let's say I bought two of them, and I put one on eBay and I sold to Randy, but I unlocked both of them and I had it in my account. So Randy gets the physical pin, but as you digital collectors know, it only feels like half a product at that point because you
Yeah.
really kind of want the digital information to be assigned with your pin. So, that came up with this, sophisticated little system where you take a video front and back of the pin, and it kind of broke apart into kind of 9 pieces. One was timestamp, one was what pin it was, and one was, I believe it was the serial number. I can't remember the serial number, but anyways, and then it got crowdsourced to people in the community, and if all of the 9 things come back checked off, then the digital would transfer into your account, kind of idea. And so
Yeah.
all that pin verification. So I think there's been like thousands of pin verifications. So the system works great,
I bet. So when we go to evolving Figpin and go into the future,
Yep.
Mark Zuckerberg a few years ago had changed the name of Facebook to Meta. What would you change the name of Figpin to if you're looking towards the future?
It's funny you should ask that question.
Let's go.
So Figpin, which originally when we were doing the names, I want to call it Kingpin. You know what I mean? But Kingpin,
like your name on Instagram, Figpin Kingpin.
yeah, it is. And actually, I was kind of funny because that name was kind of given to me by another community member. I'm like, hey man, I need because people started having all these Figpin names on Instagram. I'm like, I need a Figpin name, and like he goes, oh, you gotta be Kingpin, so Figpin.Kingpin, and so that's kind of what I went with, which is fun. So the company officially spun off of China Manufacturing Direct, CMD Collectibles, and it's funny, but someone in Georgia, I think, had the name Figpin already registered as a company. So then the official name is Figpin Collect Awesome Inc. So now we're in the process of changing the name to basically Collect Awesome. So the company name is Collect Awesome. Underneath it is the Figpin brand. Now I don't even know if you guys know, but we have another product brand that we created called CyberCell.
I did not know that.
If you're not familiar, CyberCell. You know, and so this is kind of going back. This is kind of funny why I was showing you guys this earlier, right? But this was kind of the product back from the kind of like mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
So taking that same idea, we took cell art and we created these packs right here. And basically it's like little cell art, you know, kind of trading cards, right? Each with their own now QR code serial numbers that you can kind of put in your collection. So this is an example of like a Lucky Common, you know, idea. Yeah. And then here's like a rare Zorro, you know, kind of piece.
Oh, I love that. I love how he carries a sword in his mouth. That's always a great thing for me.
And here's a super rare Nami.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then you have
I can't wait to talk to you about that a little bit more, but keep going for now.
Hyper rare, you know, the crew. And then when you get all the cards, you can redeem for an ultra rare, which there's only 100 of, you know, kind of idea. And so we launched the CyberCell brand summer of last year, and it's selling really well. And we're kind of in the version of CyberCell 2.0. And kind of building a bigger set. So these are 27 kind of card sets, smaller collections. We're going to like a 40 base card with 3 sets of parallels, some really fun redemptions kind of off it. But, you know, just even going off the whole cell art thing, what's unique about these cards, right, is they're kind of built like this, but then you can kind of like create the 3D and they can actually stand and display, you know, kind of piece.
So cool.
So when we look to the future, you know, Collect Awesome is really doubling down on the whole collecting experience, right? So Figpin now has, you know, the classic Figpin that we did with like Colonel Sanders. It has, you know, it's in its new iteration of XL Figpins, right?
Oh, the Mandalorian.
You know, so at New York Comic Con, we had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle van and kind of like a new collector packaging for that. Yeah. And then we've gone, you know, smaller with, you know, Figpin minis.
Oh, is that Deku?
That's Deku. And then, you know,
it is Deku.
Mystery version off the mini. So, you know, if you think about like the business, you know, kind of a pyramid, you'd have, you know, CyberCells with eventually, you know, Figpin redemptions off some of these hits, and hopefully VeVe redemptions off some of these hits. And, you know, kind of like building kind of up the pyramid. So that's kind of what our future looks like, you know? And I think the partnership with VeVe is extremely exciting because I think there's this whole new, like, you know, digital layer that's on the blockchain. And with what the VeVe guys are building in the VeVe verse, I think is insanely exciting. So I just see a lot of opportunity to really just double down on collecting and provide this great experience, you know, for collectors.
Okay, we have almost 200 people here ready ready to get this bread to Cat Studios because they called it. Figpin logo that was bought over 1K was GameStop, and we'll get to the VeVe stuff in a second. But we'll start the other giveaway of talking about the Amazing Spider-Man, that one. When talking about that, for this next giveaway is whoever's going to comment first, I'll get it. What is the famous line associated with the Spider-Man's responsibility as a hero? Whoever comments first will go and get that bread, and you will get that giveaway. So again, what is a famous line associated with Spider-Man's responsibility as a hero? And it is Zen Allegra saying, with great power comes great responsibility. Let's get that bread. Shout out to you, Zen Allegra. Shoot me a message on X or Instagram, wherever, and we'll be able to get that bread. Shout out to you. So one of the other things, there's a bunch of stuff that I want to talk to you about. So when we were talking about before, the VeVe collectors are pretty insane, and they were going with between $500 and $1,000 for the unredeemed ones. What are Figpin collectors like? What are the values of them? What are the things that they look out for? What are the fish bowls that they're in? Tell me about the Figpin collectors and that community.
I think it varies a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. So we have kind of the original kind of like, 3-inch Figpin, which is kind of more kind of here. And this is, I would say, where a lot of people, started in the brand. And, it's funny, when I was our first con was Emerald City Comic Con 2019. So I think that was March 2019. Yeah. And we set up our booth, and we had like a Bruce Lee Figpin, and we had, I think, like a Captain Marvel Figpin, and an XL Spider-Man actually Figpin. They're all exclusives to the event. Some other Figpins and stuff like that. We have no idea what to expect. And the show guy comes over and says, "Hey man, like you're blocking a line over here." I go, "We are?" And so there was a line to the booth, but then it kind of went, and then it wrapped all the way down the hall. I was like, "Oh shit, that's our line," And so I had no idea of that. And I think the Figpin collectors that gravitated to us early, I think really saw a lot of the love that we put into the product, right? The product quality. Yeah. So when you think about, kind of what the steps we went through to really build this thing, it was, first we wanted to do it, in hard enamel, and we wanted to do it with great line work that kind of like, really brought out the best, in kind of the art medium. And then we probably spent 8 months vetting factories in China. We have a Hong Kong office, a very seasoned Hong Kong team that's, kind of works with us. Our employees, and we kind of done sampling with a lot of it, and we finally got one that we really loved the quality and expression of kind of what they're putting out. So, and then we went, through the packaging. I mean, these hard cases are made with polycarbonate, so a very kind of hard, clear plastic with, really kind of well designed and engineered pieces that kind of all snap together. And so I think I think a great experience. And I think people get that when they get the product, right? I think they get the quality of it, and they think they're cool, and they think they're collectible. So that would be, anyways, that's what I think, that's kind of what I think. And then I think that because people are collecting them, and then they're kind of wanting to complete collections, there becomes community, and organic Facebook groups form, and Discords form, and groups form, and people form at cons. And then I think the app has kind of given this layer of like information and data and other things to kind of talk about that kind of go with it, And so I think the Figpin community, comes in like all shapes and sizes, and it comes West Coast, and it comes East Coast. But I think it all kind of centers around this kind of love of these IPs and collecting and expression of the products and stuff.
That's awesome. I know you have to go within like 20 minutes, so we'll try to get this. One of the last questions I have before the giveaway is, I like to ask, now that you're in the hot seat as a CEO, I don't like to do gotcha journalism or anything, so I don't like to go into any conspiracy theories while we're in here. But if a third party, were to ask your employees what they would think of you, what would they say about you?
Hmm. I hope they would say that I'm a guy trying to move the business the right direction, you know,
Yeah.
and
And when they go, what trajectory are you trying to build the company? Are you trying to just get some more like Target and Walmart shelf space? Are you trying to go digital more with VeVe because that sold out very, very quickly? Or are you trying to do something your own thing? What are your ideas for the
well, look,
future?
I think for me, it's not just me, right? I think you know, in business, it really takes a team and it takes people, you know, and so I made a move to buy the majority shares of Figpin in March, and
Of this year?
of this year. So I
Oh
became the
wow.
majority owner of Figpin
So
early
you're
in
not just CEO, you're also majority. So you're very incentivized to make Figpin grow and the sales to grow.
extremely. And
Okay.
um, and look, and I'm carrying, and all the original founders have their shares, and so
Yeah.
I'm really carrying the torch for everybody, kind of at this point. So my first move was to bring in Robert Thompson. Robert had been consulting with us going back a year. He comes with a great background. First at Nike, kind of was a senior guy at Hurley, and then he was at Hot Topic for 11 years as a senior VP, and
Yeah.
started the store Box Lunch, if you know that concept, and grew it to like 200 stores. And
Vague
so,
know.
anyways, brought Robert aboard, cleared the way for him to be president of the company. He's in Orange County. We have our office and warehouse and everything in Aliso Viejo. And Robert's got a beautiful touch with people and building team. And so, kind of rebuilding, our team and our operations and kind of our processes and everything in Orange County under Robert's leadership. So that's kind of been my first big move. I see myself more as product research, product creation, bigger conversations with licensors, bigger conversations with accounts, and trying to be helpful in a
Yeah.
lot of ways I can be to support, kind of moving this thing in the right direction. So from a strategy standpoint, if you then look at like Cybercell and you look at, Figpin Mystery, and then you look at Figpin Quest, and then you look at the classic business and the Excel, it's kind of like product strategies for those. How do we scale this business? That's kind of everything that we're working on right now, as a company.
Okay. Everyone loves the information tonight. Saying Dan's the man. They love you. They love some of the questions as well. People are really enjoying it. So before we go in, we'll do one more giveaway and then we'll do one more question. So the last giveaway for the Spider-Man Across the Universe set is going to be, what color is the suit that Gwen Stacy wears as Spider-Woman in Across the Spider-Verse? There's two colors. What colors are they that Gwen Stacy wears as Spider-Woman in Across the Universe? There are two major colors, and whoever gets that will be the winner. And it is pink and white, white and pink. That is Sound Warp. Shout out to Sound Warp. Let me go in and take a picture of that, and you can message me on X or Instagram or wherever, and you will get that bread. So shout out to the Sound Warp. So with some of the questions that I have for you, again, I know you have to go pretty soon, and I do want to talk to you off camera. So I'll do one extra thing.
Sure.
If whether it's as CEO was or as, so, what do you want to answer as CEO or as a fan of Figpin's digital collectibles, physical or digital? How do you want to answer? And then I'll ask that question.
Let me answer as a fan.
Okay.
You want me to answer as a CEO? I can do that
Yeah,
too.
no. I answer as a fan because I think those are more fun.
Okay.
What's the next license that you'd want to see on VeVe? Is it going to have to do with anime? Is it going to have to do with music,
Dragon Ball.
sports, Dragon Ball Z? Okay, and you said that that's very possible because you guys have done a bunch of versions of Goku in general on the physical form, but there was currently an official license of Goku is not on the blockchain. Is it why Goku and not Piccolo? Why Goku and not his offspring Gohan? Why Goku and not like Mr. Popo? Like, tell me your reasons.
Man, Goku's been good to us, man.
Yeah, love Goku.
And I don't know. I just think it's a cool character, man. He's a little goofy, but he's got his heart in the right place, and always feels like he can kind of do it. I mean, Goku would look dope on the blockchain, man.
Oh, dude, right?
In the VeVe universe, I mean, so I guess both from a fan and a CEO perspective, if I could get, if I could bring something to the party, I can't promise anything, but we're gonna do the best we can to do what we can here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. Love that. When we get that, like, so I know you haven't known too much of Videl, but how much have you watched of the original OG Dragon Ball series or Dragon Ball Z? Videl kind of is a couple of character arcs later.
Randy, I haven't watched much Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super, to be honest. So maybe like mostly YouTube shorts, that kind of a thing. Probably the most Dragon Ball exposure I've got is playing Dragon Ball Fighters.
Okay,
fighting game.
Love that.
You know what I mean? But yeah. So I would say of the animes that I have watched, Demon Slayer is my favorite of the.
Oh,
animes.
heck yeah!
And I like Chainsaw Man too. I've watched probably half of the first season of JJK.
Okay.
I've actually watched the first 3 seasons of My Hero Academia. So My Hero Academia would be also another one that I really like.
I love that.
So of my limited kind of anime exposure, Demon Slayer is at the top of my list.
Oh, dude, obviously on my body I have Dragon Ball Z. I also have the character Horse from Fruits Basket. And as much as I love Dragon Ball Z, which I do, I'm currently playing Legacy of Goku 2. It's a replay. I got it on my new kind of Game Boy emulator that my friend Ernie got for me. I love that more than most people think, more than most people would. I've spent more hours on Dragon Ball Z content than most people have on any other thing that they would have practiced. But My Hero Academia is so good. It's, again, I have Dragon Ball Z on my body,
right?
But My Hero Academia is arguably better. And eventually, whatever comes first, Dragon Ball Z or Naruto or My Hero Academia, what character on My Hero Academia would you want first? Would it be All Might? Would it be Deku, Todoroki?
Well, I mean, I think you'd have to do Deku or All Might, right? I feel like that's the very Japanese way to kind of put your main character kind of front and center. But I can tell you, Bakugo is by far the most popular character.
Really?
In My Hero Academia. Yeah, I mean, I got the stats to prove it right here on the app. So Bakugo would be up there. Actually, Hawks is actually pretty popular.
Okay.
Todoroki's popular. But yeah, it'd be there.
I see a lot of people as Todoroki for Halloween the last couple of years. So I want to talk off camera for a couple of minutes. I know you have to go. Is there anything that you want to talk about while we're on camera before we go off camera?
Yeah, look, I would say, Randy, it was a pleasure to be on here.
Oh yeah.
And the Figpin, what's been done at Figpin is from an incredible team. So we have such an incredible team at the company, and such big things are getting done right now. I'm really, really proud of everybody that's been working on Figpin. Proud of everybody that's touched Figpin, quite honestly. I mean, from the whole journey, the people that have been involved with Figpin have been some of the most talented A+ people. You know what I mean? They've kind of gotten us where we are. So just kind of a big thanks to everybody who's ever been involved with Figpin, who's with the Figpin team now. Love you guys. And I think we're doing great things, which will be the Collect Awesome team here pretty soon. And then to the VeVe fans, we couldn't have had a better welcome and warm welcome from you know, Sanjay, and of course David and Dan, and the guys I met at the booth, Corey, Emmanuel, you know, just everybody that's kind of part of the VeVe team and the people met at the VeVe parties. So we're really excited about this collaboration, and where we can kind of go together. I think is super exciting. And then, you know, big shout out to Paul if you're watching. You know, Paul was a big, you know, a catalyst in helping with the KFC kind of like, you know, kickoff and getting Colonel Sanders done. So anyways, just love to everybody, you know.
That's so cool. All right, we'll end it here and we'll talk off camera for a little bit. Everyone, thank you for coming. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you all.